The Niagara real estate market just did something that it hasn't done in months. Sales stopped falling. In fact, over the past week, sales increased across Niagara, inventory declined, and May finished with exactly the same number of sales as in April. So is the market finally finding its footing? Stay with me because today we're looking at the latest Fort Erie numbers, what's happening across Niagara, and why buyers may still have one of the best negotiating positions that we've seen here in years. Hi, I'm Barbara Scarlett. I'm a local real estate broker here with Century 21 in Fort Erie and in Niagara. Every week I break down the numbers so that you can be informed, making decisions based on what's actually happening in our local market. So let's start with Fort Erie. As of June 3rd, Fort Erie has 485 active listings. Over the past 7 days, we saw 39 new listings, 16 sales, and 68 average days on market, and an average sale price of, wow, $817,245. I'm going to have to go in and look at those sales. There must have been a couple biggies. So now let's compare that to a week earlier. Fort Erie had 495 active listings and only 9 sales. Today, we have fewer active listings and significantly more sales. Even more encouraging, our 30-day sales increased from 54 to 59 transactions. That tells me buyers are more active in the market this week than they have been recently. Now, before sellers get too excited, let's put this into perspective. In my office newsletter put out this month, the data tells us that Fort Erie sales over the last 12 months were actually up 5% compared to the previous year. However, the benchmark price is down almost 10% year over year. That's significant. What this means is homes are still selling, but buyers continue to leverage negotiations. Sellers need to be realistic about pricing if they want to be one of the homes that sell rather than one of the homes that sit. Looking across the Niagara region, we are seeing a similar story. There are currently 2,893 active listings across Niagara, and over the past week, there were 261 new listings, 124 sales, 44 average days on market, and an average sales price of $667,701. A week ago, Niagara had 2,922 active listings and only 115 sales. So once again, inventory decreased while sales increased. That is not a market that is accelerating rapidly, but it is a market that appears to be stabilizing. And that brings us to one of the most interesting statistics in this month's newsletter. May finished with 579 sales across Niagara. April finished with 579 sales, exactly the same. After a prolonged period of declining activity, seeing sales hold steady for 2 consecutive months is something worth paying attention to. Now, before we continue, if you're thinking about buying or selling in Fort Erie or anywhere in Niagara over the next 6 to 12 months, it's important that you stay in touch with the market. Be sure to subscribe for my weekly market update on what's actually happening here locally in the market. The strategy that worked in 2021 doesn't work today, and having a plan before you enter the market can make a significant difference. Another interesting trend discussed in this month's newsletter is the growing number of Canadians looking at recreational properties as a way of entering into the housing market. But here's where Niagara becomes really interesting. When you compare many cottage country markets to communities like Fort Erie, Port Colborne, even well into Niagara Falls, buyers are often purchasing a year-round home for similar money while enjoying many of the same lifestyle benefits. There's waterfront access, boating, golfing, trails, wineries. There's wonderful restaurants down here in Fort Erie and across all of Niagara. And unlike a cottage, you get to enjoy it 12 months out of the year. I'll be doing a separate video on this topic because I think it's an interesting trend that's becoming increasingly relevant for buyers. So what's the takeaway this week? The market, it's not booming, but the market is not crashing. The market appears to be finding some balance. Sales are improving. Inventory remains elevated. Prices continue to face pressure. The buyers, they still have opportunities that simply have not existed in quite a few years. For sellers, preparation, pricing, it remains the most important facts when you're going on to the market. For buyers, patience, negotiation, continuing to create those opportunities for yourself. Thank you as always for watching, and if you like learning more about our beautiful area here in Fort Erie, then you might be interested in one of my other videos suggested on the screen. I'll see you in the next video.